My next guest has got a huge opportunity coming up here at Dana White's Contender Series, October 10th. It is right around the corner. It is Torrez Finney back here on the program. Torrez, how are you, man?
I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show once again, James.
Well, I am happy to talk to you, man. What an opportunity here, potentially winning a UFC contract. When did you find out about the fight? Because I know every now and then fighters will know and then they can't say anything until the UFC announces it. So when did you find out?
Man, I found out literally the day after on the underground that Aries presented. It was on August 5th. And it was the day before it was UFC Nashville. And I had fought on that card. A few of the people, representatives that came up and watched the fight, and I got a first round finish. And the next day, we didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen next. And it was funny. My manager, Ray Horner, we was all together. And then he had left. He headed back to the airport, and we're driving down the road. He calls me. He's like, "What are you doing on October 10th?" And I was like, "I already know all the Contender Series days because I'm like, man, I'm hoping to get on one of these shows. I know every date." And I'm like, I know what's on October 10th. That's a Tuesday. And he told me to call, man, and it was so awesome, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, you must have expected this. Like you said, you were looking at the calendar and everything and looking with your record, and especially how your last fight went. Like, I'm assuming this was not much of a surprise getting this call.
It wasn't. I actually told a lot of people about that, man. It's different when you're expecting, and it's not the fact that, I deserve this. I'm supposed to have this. It's not of thinking it that way, but I knew the path and what we had done up to this point that I was on the horizon for a call in some sorts, and I was just ready, and I knew it was going to come soon. I didn't know when, I didn't know where, but I just knew it was going to come soon. And once I got the call, I was excited, and I said, "Yes, this is what I expected."
Who's the first person you told?
First person I told, so we was in the car. I actually got a vlog on YouTube of when I got the call, and I just posted it. And when I got the call, I was in there with one of my sponsors, Robert White, one of the owners here at the gym. The camera guy, his wife, who was all there. First person I called was my head coach, because we'd all in ride together. So I'm calling my head coach, and he ain't answering. Then I call my other coach, and he ain't answering. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just call my mom and dad.
There you go.
So I called them, and then I called my granddad. I was so happy to call him and tell him, I finally got a call. I just called my whole family, just tell them one by one that we're going to Vegas, and we're going to get that shot at the UFC contract. We're going to go get that UFC contract.
And, last time you and I did an interview was for Aries, and that's a promotion that, you see like Trevor Peek, who made it to the UFC. I know there was Robbie Ring as well, who had an opportunity. Like, what does it mean to, kind of go through, like kind of represent them in a way on this stage? Because I know they've done a good job of kind of getting the word out there, promoting the fighters well, and kind of getting, like I said, people are noticing that promotion in particular as far as finding talent.
Well, I'm so thankful for Aries, man. I'm grateful to be able to fight for them. I'm so blessed and thankful for Tim Lloyd and Jeff Hobbs. With both of those guys, man, they've been with me through my whole career. I've literally fought for them every single fight besides two. I fought two for Icon, for Jorge Masvidal promotion, but they've been with me my whole career. They helped me out, helped me get the matchups and things, and it's been so beneficial, man. And it's a process, man. You got to continue to grow. You got to continue to get better. And they give me like really good competition up each step. And for me to continue to get better, I have to work hard to get there. And they done their part, and I had to go in there and do mine. And I'm so thankful for Aries, man. And that's one of the things I want to be able to go in there and represent Aries. And not only Aries, but represent the South, man. I'm telling a lot of people, the South has a lot of really good MMA here. And we just don't get respected the same way. I know we got Florida. We don't count Florida. Florida's his own little thing. But you get Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, like those parts of there, Tennessee. We got talent here, and I want to showcase, like, we got some of the best talent in the world, and you're going to see that on October 10th.
Let's talk about your opponent here. I hope I'm saying this right. Yuri Panferov. Hope I'm saying that right. He's Panferov. There you go. You say it better than I am. You should take my job. But as far as his record, I know he's got a similar record to yours. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
Yuri, he's undefeated. He was undefeated as an amateur, 5-0 as an amateur, as well as I was, and 6-0 as a pro. Yuri's fought majority of all of his fights at light heavyweight, so this will be his first ever time cutting to 185. And also, he come from a boxing background, boxing and jiu-jitsu background. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So, he has a solid background. He's a really good fighter. But he doesn't have the wrestling base that I have. He does go in there and take all his opponents down, but I feel like he's never fought anybody that's ever grappled. So I think he's gonna, what I bring to the table will be a lot different than what he's ever seen. So, it's a good matchup. It's gonna be a fun matchup. I'm excited. I love the matchup for myself. You'll see it on my vlog. Like the moment, he told me who it was. He said, "You're fighting the Russian polar bear, Yuri." And I said, I'm the one that said Yuri. I said, "Oh, I love that matchup. Let's go." So, I'm a guy that studies everybody. I keep my eyes on everybody. Anybody, anywhere in the U.S. or even across, I keep my eyes on everybody. So most of the time, you give me the name, I already know who they are. So I'm ready, and I'm ready to go.
Training camp, who've been some of the main guys helping you get ready for this one?
Training camp been phenomenal, man. This training camp has been the best training camp that I've had. Mainly because of the fact that I've been going around traveling, and also I've had a lot of guys come in. I've had some guys from Nashville MMA, Andrew Stewart, Travis Thomas from Alabama. Obviously, my own training partners with Garrett Gross and Trevor Peak, Zane Burton, and Josh Booker. Those guys, and I went to Fusion XL, got a lot of really good work with Rodolfo Vieira, Phil Rowe, Bubby Sheffield, Val Woodburn. So I spent a whole week there. Julian Williams, he's a phenomenal coach at Fusion, man. Gave me a lot of really good tips. They help. I mean, it's different. It's understanding, like when you go and cross train, people ain't got to help you. I mean, you can like, oh yeah, give my guys some rounds, good. You can go train in the classes. But they didn't just only do that, but they helped me game plan and helped me give me tips for my opponent, and you don't have a lot of people that do that for you. And I'm thankful for them. And yes, man, I've had a lot of, and look, the entire gym here at Gogi, man, a lot of people has given me individual work to help me out. And I'm just so blessed to have the people and the support to be behind me to be able to go out here and to be able to get this job done on October 10th.
Your corner, what will that look like going into the fight? Who's going to be in the cage with you?
So my corner is going to be Matt Harris and Larry Scott. Matt is I've been with Matt since day one. The day I walked in, Matt, he's a black belt here. He's my jiu-jitsu coach, and also Larry Scott is my striking coach. So Larry will be there with me as well. It was definitely very emotional for me because I wanted to get Larry in there. Larry, he's been my coach. Trevor's been fighting, but we have two different striking coaches. So, to get Larry on this scene and on this stage for the first time was very happy for me to be able to do that. So I'm excited to have Coach Larry on there and me and Matt. And we're going to go in there and get the job done, man. So we will get it done.
How is this getting done? What's your prediction? How do you see the fight going down?
Well, I do this every time. I tell everybody, I don't ever make predictions. But one thing I will guarantee, that my hand will be raised at the end of the night. A lot of people go in. I understand it is the Dana White Contender Series, and you have to impress Dana. But if you're confident in your skill set, what you bring to the table will impress Dana. And that's the way I have the mindset. My mindset is go in there and win. Go in there and win. Go in there and get the job done. However you may have to do it, go in there and get the job done. The goal is to go in there and get the finish. And I feel like I can finish him in any round. And I'm just going to go in there and just do me. I always say this for myself. I go in there and be me. I don't think anybody on the planet can beat me. So I have to be the best version of me, and everything else will take care of itself.
Got to ask this because obviously, big opportunity here. You get the contract, you go into the middleweight division. The middleweight division's totally flipped upside down with Sean Strickland winning the title. I was just curious your impressions of that fight. Again, big underdog comes through, and we got a new champion.
Well, I'm excited for Sean. I've trained with Sean on a few occasions.
Nice.
When I went to Vegas to do the photo shoot, we was there at the same hospital because I went to the photo shoot the week after. And he was there looking at getting his foot looked at or something. So they had us in the waiting room for about an hour, just me, him, and Trevor. And we was in there. We just talked, we just talked for a good bit. And he gave me some tips, and listened to him and I asked him about his experience. And yeah, man, the whole thing was phenomenal. It really was. And I really believe that what Sean has done, has just showcased that, hey, what I bring to the table, what I do now is a lot different of what I'm able to do going forward. I mean, look, he just went out there and beat Israel Adesanya, and a lot of people didn't give him a shot. And I feel like that. Look, that's the way my life has always been. I've always been the underdog. Nobody's ever given me the chance. I've always been, you're too short when I play football, or you're not big enough, or you had to do it, or when I would wrestle, you're not skilled enough to beat this guy. This guy's he's going to this college and he's this multiple time state champion. You ain't got a chance, and I will always have to overcome those feats. And I did. And I feel like this is another situation of me doing that. That's why I'm excited for this opportunity. You keep telling me something I can't do, and I keep continuing to prove myself right that I can do it.
Downtime. I know you don't have a lot of it during camp. What are you getting up to? You mentioned, are you watching NFL this season? What are your thoughts on what's happening, what's going on right now?
Yeah, man. I'm watching a lot of college football and I watch a lot of NFL, man. That's really my go-to. I know UFC be on Saturdays, but I don't watch much UFC during football season. Like,
what do you think of this? Since you're college football, I got to ask, what do you think of this Colorado thing with Deion Sanders? Like, it's captivating everyone right now. They weren't even supposed to win a game this year, and Sanders has already exceeded expectations.
Man, I love Deion Sanders, man. Look, I know he's getting a lot of flack, because of how confident he is, but I enjoy what he brings to the table, man. And people got to remember, this is year one. He is doing this in year one, and it's not supposed to be a national championship contending team. I know he talks that way. I know he speaks confidently that way, but it's not supposed to. He already knew. He even said in a press conference, like, I'm 6 or 7 dogs away from contending, and he knows that. He knew that from the beginning. So the fact that he's won 3 games already, he's 3-1, is a plus. The Colorado haven't been relevant ever. I have never stayed up that long late at night to watch a college football game. He had the whole world staying up late at night watching football. Like, nobody watches Colorado and Colorado State play football again. I'm sorry. I mean, respect to him.
Yeah.
But nobody stays up watching Colorado and Colorado State. He had the whole country that had the most views in history for ESPN, over 10 million views, sitting there watching Colorado and Colorado State. It's crazy, but that's the type of impact he's doing for Colorado, and I'm excited for him.
Deion was called primetime. This fight is going to be primetime, October 10th, Dana White's Contender Series. You do not want to miss it. Torrez, thanks so much for doing this, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yes, man. I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me this opportunity, man. I'm blessed, and I just think that this is the opportunity. This is the path. If you knew my story all the way, man, from the start, like, you would have never thought I'd end up here. And man, what a blessing it has been. But I also want to thank Agogi for everything they do for me, all the support from all of them, man. It's been so much of a blessing. And I also want to thank all my training partners, everyone that has helped me up to this point. Thank you very much, all my sponsors, from Robert White to Johnny Jones, to Scenic City Solar, Peak Kinetic Performance. Without PKP, man, the strength and conditioning process that I have been doing has been so big. It gets me in the best shape possible. I really do thank them. And man, it's just been a really great journey. And I just want to thank everybody that supported me, all the people back at home, from Macon, Georgia, to Jones County, here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you all very much.